Picture this. You walk into a fight with the best plan you've ever written. You watched hours of tape, you drilled the combos, you rehearsed every scenario. If they jab, I parry. If they kick, I check. If they clinch, I break and pivot. You think you have answers for everything. Then the bell rings. They come forward like a demon, twice as fast as you expected. They switch stances. They throw something you've never seen on film. They feint. You're out of position. You get clipped. Everything you planned just vanishes in a single moment of chaos. That's fighting. And that's life. No business plan, no career plan, no relationship plan, no 5-year life vision survives first contact with reality. Because reality moves, it has agency, it has surprises, it hits back. And today, I want to break down why your plan should fail and why that is not a problem, but a gift. Because what you do after the plan collapses, that is who you actually really are.
Steel and shadow, fists fly high, breaking through limits, I reach for the sky. Martial instincts power my stride. Fight principles guiding my fight.
Welcome to Fight Principles. I'm Sasha, and let me be honest, I love plans. I mean, I'm even German, right? So I love plans. They feel safe. They feel like control. They quiet your anxiety, at least until you step into the ring. We love to believe that a perfect plan will protect us from pain, uncertainty, mistakes, and so on. But there's a problem. The plan is like a comfort blanket, not a shield. It makes you feel good, but it doesn't stop the punches. It doesn't stop someone from taking an angle you never trained for. It doesn't stop a partner from hurting you, a business from failing, a friend from betraying you. And when we cling to the plan too hard, we do something dangerous. We freeze, we panic, we refuse to adapt because we feel like improvising is the same as being unprepared. But improvisation isn't the lack of preparation. Improvisation is the ultimate preparation. It's what separates a script follower from a fighter. But let's break this down even deeper, okay? Why do plans actually break? It's not random. It's predictable because pressure changes human beings. So first, the adrenaline short circuits you. You rehearse a calm plan in a calm environment, but once you're under the flood of adrenaline, your fine motor skills, they break down. Your ability to recall complex patterns drops. Yeah, you default to your simplest, to your deepest habits. That's why in a fight or a job crisis or a family meltdown, you forget the script. Secondly, the opponent is alive, right? The opponents are not a pet. They have a brain. They change, they lie, they fake. So the moment you step in front of another living human, you lose certainty. That's true in fighting, but it's also true in negotiations, in love, in parenting, and everything. Third, context shifts. At the environment, the energy, the weather, the vibe of the room. These shift in real time. Maybe you slip on sweat in the ring. I'm sorry, I sweat a lot. Maybe a key supplier collapses your business plan. Maybe your kid suddenly needs you and you can't stick to your routine. You cannot script a living world. That's important to understand. The emotion makes you override logic. You can memorize a perfect plan, but if fear spikes or embarrassment or rage, you throw the plan out the window. This is why you see experienced pros do reckless things when they feel personally attacked. Emotion is the oldest override system in the human brain. Also, the illusion of control breaks. Yeah, plan is a mental fantasy that you're in control of everything. The moment you face chaos, the illusion shatters. That's painful, and the brain doesn't like it. The brain resists it. So people freeze or blindly stick to the plan even when the plan's failing. I can give you a personal anecdote as well. Like I'm a professor at a uni, right? So I walk into classes with the perfect plan, the perfect flow. I'm like, hey, this class is gonna rock. They're gonna enjoy it so much. I'm gonna have fun. We're gonna have the best class ever. And I try to do this as many times as possible. Like every time I go to a class, I'm like, okay, I'm prepared for everything, every single time. But then a student's gonna ask the question out of left field. The projector doesn't work. Someone bursts into tears due to some personal issues sharing with a friend, and the plan dies. So I had to learn to pivot, to read the room, not just read the notes. And this is the exact same as fighting. There is no perfect script that survives contact with chaos. There's just not. Your only true weapon is your ability to dance with the moment. And you have to practice that. Let's get even more specific, okay? Look at like famous fighters and how they did it. One example would be Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen. Yeah, Silva was being dominated on the ground for, I must say, 23 minutes. His plan was to keep distance, strike, frustrate Chael Sonnen. Chael, the gangster he is, was like, nah, I'm not doing this. It didn't work. Chael smashed him with takedowns. But in the final minute, what happened? We all know it. Yeah, Silva found this tiny gap, threw up a triangle choke, finished. Even though we all know Chael Sonnen is undisputed, undefeated. But for the sake of this argument, Silva finished. So he improvised under pressure. Yeah, awesome. Demetrius Johnson versus Ray Borg, one of the most iconic finishes in UFC history, probably. The plan for DJ, pick him apart standing. Well, Ray Borg scrambled, forced a clinch, and another clinch, a clinch after clinch. So DJ was like, okay, cool. I change, adapt, and created the super iconic suplex to armbar finish on the fly. There was fantastic improvisation. Did he drill it before? Certainly. But it's not like there was the main plan to go into that. It's like, okay, stuff doesn't work. Hey, let's try something else. Or Izzy, let's talk about Izzy. Izzy adapts mid-fight all the time. You see him download timing, store reads, and then break the patterns live. Yeah. He'll switch stance, he'll switch guards, all based on what he sees right now, not what he wrote on the whiteboard. So, saying all that, it's not only for famous fighters, of course, it's for us. We can look in, how did this happen to us and what can you learn from it? Yeah, you can learn to look at plans that you had, plans that failed, the moments you saw openings, how you adapted and how it fell afterward, because all of us adjusted before and made it work at some point in life. We just forget it. We think plans are always better. But we probably all hang off those stories where we adjusted at some point, made it happen. And that's where we can learn from. Now that we are aware of that, let's break down a few, since we're the 5 Principles podcast, a few principles of improvisation, okay? So let's look into like different layers. So the first one I'd suggest would be drill your fundamentals to survive the chaos. And when the plan breaks, you don't invent magic. You fall back on the basics that you own at the deepest levels. Your balance, your breathing, your posture, your guard. Those are the tools that do not fail under chaos. In a real world, in a non-fighting world, if you lose your job, you still have your core skills. communication, empathy, resourcefulness, you will land somewhere. If your relationship plan dies, you still have honesty and your ability to rebuild. So drilling your fundamentals is your anchor when the ocean is too big to read. The second principle would be use small adjustments, not those insanely huge overhauls. Improvisation is not throw everything away. It's micro adjustments. Yeah, change one step, change an angle, switch your rhythm, change your stance. Yeah, it could be adjusting distance by maybe just a foot, for example. Change your jab speed. Check your opponent's breathing. In life, that could be change the meeting format, or shift the time you talk to your partner, or drop one single habit, not your entire routine all at once. If small is sustainable, and small keeps you calm. The third principle I want to call try to control your emotional state. What I mean is that improvisation fails if your emotions hijack you. Yeah, what makes you freeze is fear. What makes you rush is anger. What makes you stubborn is your ego. So in fighting, you would breathe between exchanges. That's why breathwork is so important. You center on footwork. Yeah, you look at your corner to re-anchor. In life, you would pause. You would label your feelings. How do you feel right now? What is it? I am scared. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. And you should give yourself a moment before you respond. Yeah, self-awareness is the improviser superpower. If you know what is happening, then you can adjust. If you're just blindly reacting, you cannot. So if you can name your emotion, you can still steer your ship. My fourth principle would be train for chaos. I think that's what many coaches say. Don't just train perfect technique, train unpredictable partners, train random start positions, train mental confusion. And fighting, we would train like odd-timed rounds, for example. We would do random starts. We would do weird combinations. For life, it could be public speaking without notes, having a day with no schedule, taking a different commute, testing yourself in new environments. The more you voluntarily train chaos, the less chaos scares you. That leads me to the fifth principle. Anchor to your core principle, not a plan. So when you lose the plan, you hold on to a principle. In fighting, that might be protect your chin, stay moving, keep breathing. That principle is your North Star. In life, a principle might be stay honest, stay kind, stay curious, protect your peace. The plan is how you get there, but the principle is why you get there. So when you anchor to a principle, you can rebuild any plan on top of it in any circumstance. So again, anchor to your core principle, not to the plan. If you have a principle that you anchored on, you can find different plans, create different plans to get there. So, if you're looking ahead for this week, maybe we can do a few things to actually train that. Yeah, pick one routine in your life and then break it. Change your coffee shop. That sounds basic to some, as someone who loves plans and routine, for me, I actually did that. I was like, I cannot go to the same coffee shop to work now. I'm gonna go somewhere else. Change your morning flow. Change your gym sequence. It's also something I had to force myself to do to actually level up in the gym. Force your brain to adapt. And then journal. Journaling is really helpful. Jot down what felt scary, what came easier than you thought, because there will be things that will be surprisingly easy. What did you learn about how you handle the unexpected? Write down those things. A reflection prompt could be, when my last plan failed, what part of me stayed strong, for example? Name it, write it down, remember it. And then you got a principle. So remember, plans are beautiful. They make you feel confident, smart, bulletproof. But the fight is never interested in your blueprint. The opponent always has a vote. Life always has a say, and chaos always swings back. So learn to dance, learn to change, learn to smile in the middle of a failing script, because if you can do that, no plan can defeat you. You will always have options. You will stay alive, you will stay dangerous, and you will stay free. So thanks for listening to 5 Principles this week. If this made you think, send it to someone clinging to a broken plan right now, and remind them the plan's not you, you're the improviser. Stay grounded, stay sharp. We talk soon. Swadee Khap.
Steel and shadow, fists fly high, breaking through limits, I reach for the sky. Martial instincts power my stride, fight principles guiding my fight.